Hey everybody, it's Matt Mayoko from NBC Sports Bay Area. Just want to bring you up to date on the happenings around 49er land on Monday, as the 49ers had a bonus practice before getting ready to face the Miami Dolphins on Sunday in Miami. So the first thing was that John Lynch released a statement in which he explained that 49ers, former 49ers linebacker De'Vondre Campbell, well, I guess he still remains technically a member of the team, at least under contract to the 49ers. But what John Lynch reported on Monday, we have suspended De'Vondre Campbell for 3 games due to conduct detrimental to the team. That's without pay. And we will have no further comment on the matter. Well, that's John Lynch saying no further comment on the matter, but some other 49ers had plenty to say on Monday. We'll talk about that. But first, this video is brought to you by Canyon Club Brewery. It's located in Moraga, California, right down the street from where I live. One of my go-to spots with the wide variety of beer styles and menu items with all the tasty bites. So if you ever get a chance, if you're in Moraga, maybe you're going to a St. Mary's basketball game or whatever, swing by Canyon Club Brewery, tell them I sent you, and Canyon Club will be coming soon to the Livery in Danville. So I will keep you posted when that is ready to go. Okay, so a couple things. Let's start off with Nick Bosa. And I'm going to come back later to Bosa, something he said interesting and something that I've kind of talked about a little bit on this YouTube channel as far as the 49ers future. Will they run it back? Whatever. He has some thoughts on that as far as it pertains to the defense. And it's pretty much in line with some of the stuff that I've been saying. But first, what Bosa had to say about De'Vondre Campbell. He said that he could kind of see that there was some grumbling there. Campbell's 31 years old. He's a 9-year veteran, and he was going to be relegated to backup duty Thursday against the Rams. You all know what happened. Dre Greenlaw goes out of the lineup. D. Winters goes out of the lineup, and it was De'Vondre Campbell on the sideline refusing to go into the game. So rarely ever seen. I think in my years of covering the NFL, I've seen players retire. I've seen players quit, all that stuff. I've never seen anybody refuse to go into a game in which he's suited up, healthy, and ready to go. But what Bosa said was, in the locker room before the game, I heard some complaining, and I was going to say something and didn't because I didn't want to create more of a distraction. So he said, yeah, I kind of saw the foreshadowing and definitely didn't think it was going to result in that. Didn't know it happened during the game. And so, what happened was Johnny Holland tried to get De'Vondre Campbell to go into the game. He refused. And at some point, Kyle Shanahan went over and Campbell said he's not playing. Later, John Lynch came down to the sideline, according to Jay Glazer, and ordered him off the field after seemingly getting pretty heated, and rightfully so. I did ask Bosa about whether this is an isolated incident or if there are issues within the locker room. Now, I fully realize he wouldn't say, oh, yeah, a lot of people are pissed off in this locker room. I understand that. But, I've never heard anybody talk about issues in the locker room. And, I'm around the leaders a lot, Bosa and Warner and Kittle and whatever, McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Brock Purdy, Juszczyk, on and on and on. And I've never detected anything amiss in the locker room as far as backbiting, complaining, any kind of comportment that isn't in line with the team. And so when I asked Bosa about that, is this a symptom of something larger or a signal that things aren't right? And what he said is, this locker room is great. It's always been great. But sometimes when you bring in somebody who's older and from a different place, you don't know. But no, there are no issues in this locker room. And then he said, very rarely. So I'm assuming he was referring to De'Vondre Campbell. Another person who spoke about the situation was Diamador Lenore. He went on social media and talked a little bit about it after George Kittle and Charvarius Ward were the most outspoken people after the game Thursday night against the Rams. 49ers lose that one 12-6. And certainly Campbell not playing in that game had an impact on the 49ers defense in the second half. Although they kept the Rams out of the end zone, the 49ers gave up way too many yards rushing to Kyron Williams. And I think it ultimately did impact the game. But here's something that De'Amador Lenore said, and these are words I think mean a lot. When he first got signed, I was thinking in my head, like, we got another guy we can add to the defense who can contribute. For that to happen, meaning his refusal to play in the game, for him to do that, I just lost all respect. And, so often you hear players talk about respect and how much it means to them. And so for Campbell, who was a first team All Pro several years ago, to have a former teammate talk about that's kind of interesting. And certainly it's got to burn. It's got to hurt. De'Vondre Campbell has not released any public statement about this. I've reached out to his agent, nothing there either. So we've yet to hear his side of the story, if he even has a side of the story. Let me paint the picture. 49ers did practice on Monday, very short practice, but after practice was over, the media goes into the locker room. There wasn't a whole lot of media here on Monday, but the first thing you notice is where De'Vondre Campbell's locker was. It is completely barren. It's been cleaned out. There's no sign that anybody was in that space just 4 days ago. And the nameplate above his locker has been totally removed. So, John Lynch said they're not going to speak anymore about De'Vondre Campbell. There's no outward sign that De'Vondre Campbell was on the team, but the players are still talking about De'Vondre Campbell, because I do think that it did kind of create some waves just because of the unique nature of that. And what De'Amador Lenore said was, I've never seen that. It's actually crazy to quit on your team while they're at battle. That sucks. I've never been a part of something like that. I got too much love for the game and too much pride to even tell the coach I'm not going to play in the game. And he said, I'm a person who's going 110% every play. So if I'm hurt and the guy behind me is not backing me up or can't go in or don't want to go in, I feel like that's being a cancer to the team. So that's the impact that De'Vondre Campbell had with the 49ers, is that, he started, I think it's 122 games in his NFL career, but all that respect, all that service, all that time playing in the NFL, this is what he's going to be remembered for. Okay, so later I did ask Bosa about the defense, because over the weekend I talked about, the maybe nobody's to blame video. You can check that out. I think I posted that Sunday morning. But one of the things I talked about was just the offensive and defensive rankings. And I did ask Bosa, I go, do you guys know where you rank defensively as far as yards allowed? And he said, yeah, I think we're second or third. The right answer is the 49ers ranked third in the NFL in total yards allowed, only 298 per game. And so that just kind of got Bosa going a little bit. And the first thing he said was that, I think a lot of people, and he said, you guys, meaning the media in particular, you're going to be like, get this guy out of here, get these guys out of here. It didn't work. It didn't work. But Bosa said, but there's going to be a lot of criticism next year when it looks very similar. That's just what I feel, because we have the right people in terms of coaches and players. We have the right guys. And then he did specify that he's speaking specifically about the defense. But what he said was, he said that it's very key for the 49ers to re-sign Dre Greenlaw, bring him back. As you could tell Thursday, he really is the heart and soul of this team. So he says, got to get Dre locked in. And he feels bring everybody back. And specifically, he talked about Nick Sorensen. He said that the defensive coordinator, first-year defensive coordinator, I think Nick's done a great job, honestly. You can't play the plays for the players. You can make the calls. I think he's gotten better. I think D'Amico Ryan's got better as he went too. I think it'll be a very similar defense, and hopefully Dre helps and will be fresh and ready to rock next season. Along those lines, when I talked about how you kind of weigh that, you know, third in the league in total defense as far as yards allowed, but not being good in the red zone, not being as good on third downs. And what Bosa said was, I'm not saying we've been playing great defense all year because our red zone has been awful. I'm just saying we've had to throw in a lot of young guys early on, and that could cause some confusion and some breakdowns. But he says right now we're hitting our stride, and that's when we'd be going on a playoff run. We just didn't do enough to get to that playoff run. So I agree defensively. I think this team is on the right track defensively. I think that the defensive linemen they brought in, many of them are playing much better and looking good. Yetur Gross-Matos, Leonard Floyd is a much better player than he was earlier in the season as has become more acclimated to the defense. Malik Collins, I think, has been good, and Jordan Elliott has been fine as a backup too. So, the question is with Javon Hargrave, will he be back next season? I I I don't think so. The 49ers plan to release him at the beginning of the new league year, but they also want the opportunity to compete for his services. They don't just want him signing with another team without him telling them or giving the 49ers a heads up or an opportunity to get involved in that as well. Now, does Javon Hargrave owe that to the 49ers? No. But I would think that the 49ers will be involved with trying to bring back Hargrave next season. Whether they're able to do that or not, I don't know, but I do believe what Nick Bosa said. The number one priority has to be Dre Greenlaw. We just see that energy, that passion, that fire that he brings to the team. And I think because of the injury coming off the Achilles, leaving this game Thursday night after sustaining, some knee discomfort, back out there on the practice field on Friday, or on Monday. But I do think that it's really clear of the guys who are scheduled for free agency. Dre Greenlaw's got to be the number one priority, and then that defense can come back, and in the words of Bosa, be ready, freshen up and be ready to rock in 2025. Okay, so that's a story here from 49er land as they try to move past the De'Vondre Campbell situation, fiasco, whatever you want to call it, and then a brief look ahead to 2025. 49ers still have 3 games left in the season, and they're going to be watching closely because, as Bosa said himself, find out those final 3 games who wants to be a member of this team, because I think a lot of eyeballs will be watching to see how the players perform when, in essence, the team is just playing for pride at this point. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment and a like if you like it. And that is it for now.